Sound speeds and stupid question time. Do you like to be rewarded? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you a very simple way to incentivize being quiet on a film set. Let's start out by defining positive versus negative reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is giving something to try to get some sort of result. And negative reinforcement is taking something away in order to try to get a certain result. So an example of positive reinforcement would be to reward someone with a party, let's say, for doing good in school. And negative reinforcement would be arresting someone and taking them to jail, removing their freedom for breaking the law. Some people confuse this by adding another layer, like, for example, negative reinforcement of positive behavior or positive reinforcement of negative behavior. For example, negative reinforcement of positive behavior would be someone that screams at their child for coming home on time because they came home on time and the parent was just in a bad mood, versus a positive reinforcement of negative behavior when, let's just say, it's picture day and a kid refuses to take a picture. You keep shoving candy into the kid's mouth, trying to get them to want to take the picture, and instead the kid's going to continue to act up because they want to get the candy. People on film sets are, not surprisingly, spoiled rotten. We're given free breakfast, we're given free lunch, we're given any snacks we want to throughout the day for free. We're also given food trucks from time to time. We're given swag, shirts, jackets, bags, just for being film people. And if you're on a high-profile show, you might get additional things just because you're on a high-profile show. There's also bragging rights, incentives, and rewards for doing positive behavior or winning a contest, for example. And on set, it's surprisingly simple to make a contest into something that will actually benefit the sound department. A few years ago, if I was going to be on a show that lasted multiple months, I would make stickers and hand them out to all the crew. But then I got the idea of actually taking it to the next step, which would be putting some sort of a sound-friendly message on there and then trying to use that as an incentive in order to get people to want to behave quietly and to behave themselves on set. Now, originally, admittedly, I did not implement this correctly and was giving them out to people that simply asked for them. And when you say friends of sound, you kind of hope that they are actually sound friendly, but they aren't always. Then I had buttons made that say sound friendly. Now, a viewer actually helped me out with this. Thanks a lot, Jeff. And what he did was he took the idea that I had, which was just a black background and the show font with the words sound friendly one over top of each other, and he decided to take and incorporate in show artwork and kind of change it into having boom poles and lav mics, instead of the trees, and to basically have an XLR cable wrap around like the ribbon, and then had basically the show art, but he designed the font because it's a slightly modified font. And I tell you, he killed it in this design. But I was extremely impressed by this design, and I wasn't about to give this away to people just for the fact that they were on set with me. So when I went to set, I would say, hey, look, we have these buttons that say sound friendly. I made sure that I gave them to the people that actually were sound friendly. And there was like, oh man, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. We were wearing them, and a couple of people were like, hey, can I get one of those? Are you sound friendly? Yeah, I'm sound friendly. Good, show me. You want to be surprised? Well, imagine grips and electricians that normally would try to work through something like rolling, suddenly being quiet because they want to be, rewarded by a sound-friendly button. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to be quiet one time and say, hey, man, I was actually quiet. Good. Keep it up, and I will give you one when you are ready. You don't want to give them out too early because then they're going to go back to being whatever they want to. But if you don't ever seem to hand them out, then people are going to say, well, wait, he doesn't ever give them out. He's just hogging them all. But I wasn't hogging them. I would make sure that I gave one out every now and then, maybe once or twice a week. So that way people would know that they are still out there, that we're still rewarding good behavior positively. And when you give them out to cast, I would also point out that one of the things that I did is I would say, oh, you definitely deserve that. I would pull them aside, first of all, and say, you earned this. And they would be, really? What did I do for this? The learning experience has now begun. Because they're going to want to hear what they did. It could just be that they put something down not on their dialogue. It could be that they were looking down and they're off mic, and then suddenly they delivered all their dialogue up, as opposed to saying, oh no, I don't think I could possibly do that here, and made it more difficult for you to scoop them. Instead of burying their face in the table, they were delivering all the dialogue down. So that way they would look down. Oh, I can't possibly do that. Delivering the dialogue up. Now, another thing you could actually do is incorporate in a positive learning experience from that, where you could say something like, I saw you do this, and I saw you do this, and then You can add on there a couple of things that you want them to work on, not by telling them, oh, you should work on this and this, but instead say, and I've noticed also, we really like it when this happens and this happens, and I see you're starting to incorporate it into some of those elements. You'd be surprised at how quick actors can actually modify their behavior when they think that it's already being done. So if you have younger actors, for example, it's one thing to just say on set, someone's talking, someone's moving around off set, and the actors are just going to work through it because they're young and don't know better, and you simply yell out, have some respect for the actors. Actors are going to be like, yeah, you know what? They should have respect for me and my performance. But if you yell it out, have respect, come on, the actors are performing. They're going to say, yeah, that's uncalled for. We shouldn't do that. They start to learn from things like that. But if you incentivize giving them something like a button, because they are acting in an appropriate way and acting sound friendly, not putting down things directly over dialogue, not sliding things, not turning their heads off axis, and, actually doing things on set like not kicking their feet, sliding their feet, lifting up their feet and walking, would be very helpful. And of course, liking to wear the comfortable shoes that will be much quieter than their clip-cloppy shoes that they normally wear, and they'll, of course, appreciate wearing those also. But incentivizing positively and positively reinforcing the positive behavior with something that's very, very simple to make. This is only 125 of them, and I gave out maybe 50 of them on the show I just got through finishing, and I have another 125 someplace else. Here's an important note. When you start giving them to cast members, don't do it publicly. Instead, say, do you have 20 seconds? I just want to talk to you for 20 seconds. So they rehearse, they are out of hair and makeup, you're going to be turning around, you just say as they're leaving set, can I speak to you for 20 seconds? Pull them aside, say, you earned this. And then they might say, oh, great, thanks. Or they might say, really, what did I do to earn this? And that's when you start to tell them the things that they did right, which reinforces the positive behavior that is sound friendly. Now, you can ask them also, do us a favor, and not everybody's probably going to receive one of these, so do us a favor and don't really tell a whole lot of people about them. Oh, yeah, sure, I'll mum's the word. But people on film sets talk. And even if you tell them not to talk, they're still going to. So they will end up, especially after one or two people start to receive them, they're going to start saying, oh, you got a pen? Oh, cool. Where'd you get that? Sal gave it to me. Really? What'd you do for it? They're going to start to talk. And by the end of a show, cast members are going to start to suddenly do a little bit more sound-friendly things, hoping to try to get them. Now, that's obviously if they seem to care. And there are some cast members that you give them to, when you finally slip it to them, they are over the world. They are over the top, happy, and you would be thinking, you're making thousands of dollars or maybe even tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars, and yet you're happy about a little bitty button that cost me less than $1 to produce each? Yes, because it says that they did a good job. And believe it or not, actors and other people like to receive awards for doing a good job. That reinforcement of good behavior is very important. So thank you for tuning into this episode of Sound Speech. Be sure to tune in the future for more tips and tricks that will help you get a job or keep it. Is that positive incentive enough for you? And of course, sound advice. Have a question you'd like answered or want to add something? Be sure to write it in the comment section down below. You can also make a suggestion for future topics of discussion. Again, comment section down below, or you can email me at soundspeeds@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on future sound advice.